Girls can't be autistic. Hello, my name's Beth Bruen. I'm a speech and language therapist at Witherslack group. How many times have you heard only boys are autistic, girls can't be autistic, when it's simply not true? While it is true that more boys are diagnosed autistic, the current stats are every 4 boys to every 1 girl, this isn't necessarily reflective of the true number of the population of autistic girls. A key reason for this is that boys are diagnosed earlier, typically. So they are diagnosed in childhood or even infancy, whereas girls tend to be diagnosed in late childhood or even adulthood. A key reason for this is masking. Masking is the way in which autistic people constantly have to change how they present in order to be a way that they perceive to be more socially acceptable. While this in theory is great, it isn't a sustainable solution. Masking is significantly associated with high levels of stress and mental fatigue. It is no surprise, therefore, that autistic girls have some very high rates of depression, anxiety, and of eating disorders. In fact, a lot of autistic girls receive this diagnosis first before receiving their autism diagnosis. What we need to do is we need to be recognising these signs earlier of autism so that we can support these girls and empower them in their own neurodiversity. In order to do this, we need to challenge our own biases in relation to autism and to the female community. So, for example, autistic girls can have special interests. However, these special interests tend to be similar to those of their peers. So they may love Sabrina Carpenter or Roblox, but the intensity that they like these things and the knowledge that they have may far surpass their peers. They do engage in pretend play. However, this pretend play may be repetitive in nature, scripted, and it may reflect the things that they see around them. So an autistic girl may rock the baby to sleep, sing to the baby, feed the baby, put the baby to bed, and then do it all over again. I do want to preface this here and say there is nothing wrong with this level of play. Girls tend to internalise their emotions, whereas boys tend to externalise them. And so commonly associated with autism is meltdowns. However, in girls, we may see them have autistic shutdowns instead, where they become quieter, more reclusive, and may engage in self-harming behaviours. Also, girls can mask throughout the day. And what happens is when they get home, we may see differences in behaviour here. In addition to this, looking out for those signs of mental health difficulties may also be an indicator that a girl is autistic. So how can we help? Well, we need to listen and observe for all of these signs and traits of autism. We need to look out for that mental fatigue, look out for those differences in their mental health. In addition, we need to be able to make sure that we are celebrating them as well. We are not just focusing on their needs, but also looking at their strengths. I've mentioned about how they have a great depth of knowledge, that they have a lot of passion. These things should be highlighted and, where possible, incorporated into their daily life. We need to be providing safe spaces for girls to be able to be themselves and not have to mask. So this might look like a period of downtime after social interaction. It could look like understanding their sensory needs and ensuring that there are strategies to support them, proactive and reactive, and also providing ways for them to communicate other than talking. So this may look like drawing, writing, or using symbols. We need to be empowering girls as well, so that they understand that then they are different and that is fine, and it's something that they should be proud of. Lastly, we need to be making sure that we are educating others about the subtle differences between autism in girls and autism in boys, so we can shift that narrative that girls can't be autistic. And every time we do that, we are ensuring that more girls are supported and proud to be neurodiverse.